Hello?
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
what happened?
With what?
You didn't send me anything.
Yeah, I wanted to just call you first.
Oh, okay, so what's up?
Well, I was just reading through some of that stuff.
Yep.
Um, yeah, well, first thing I want to mention is how come you lied to me about having sex with Paula?
How come I lied to you about having sex with Paula?
Yeah.
I didn't lie to you about having sex with Paula.
Well, you told me you did.
Yeah, I did.
On that paper, you tell them that you never had any sexual contact with her.
No, that was before. I didn't tell them the whole details of the whole thing. I told them around about what happened. They didn't get the version that you got because they just got the breakdown of it. They didn't ask me about having sex with Paula. They're the ones that said that I didn't have sex with her. I didn't tell them that. But everything that guy said, this is coming from the polygrapher, right? On the paper?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that he said on there, he twisted everything around that I said. That includes all the stories about, like, with Mary Ingalls. I told him that I had a crush on her when I was a kid. He twisted all that stuff around. So when I go to do the polygraph on August 4th, I got to bring this with me and lay it in front of him and show him that I know what he did. And it's no different than Sean. It's a good thing I'm out of Sean's class now, because I would do the same thing to Sean. I've already told Ashley about it. And I've told my counselor about it, that I'm going to put it right in front of the polygrapher. So he knows that I know that he twisted everything around that I said. And I'm going to tell him that I already told them that he twisted everything around. That's one of the reasons that I've been held back so much, because Sean and the polygrapher have been doing this shit for years.
Why didn't you mention this to me then?
Why didn't I mention about the stuff on there?
Yeah.
I was going to when we talked on the phone again. I even texted that to you. There's some stuff in there that I had to tell you some stuff about.
What do you need to tell me about?
That's the stuff I was going to tell you about.
About lying about having sex with Paula?
About them twisting stuff around. The polygrapher and Sean twisting the stuff around.
Well, what's that underlined stuff?
That's the stuff that he twisted around. That was me that underlined that stuff.
Well, so when he said that you admitted to fantasizing about the 9-year-old girl, what did he twist around?
That right there, I told him and I told Sean that I was upset about. Okay, there's a 9-year-old girl that sings the national anthem, comes on the news every morning at 5 o'clock, or it comes on right before the news at 5 o'clock. And at the end of her singing the national anthem, they've got her walking in a field with a flag, and they have her wearing a really, really short skirt. And I told Sean and the polygrapher that I was upset about that because of the people that are out there that see that. I didn't think it was appropriate for her to be wearing such a short skirt like that. And they twisted it around. You see why I got to bring it into the polygrapher and set it in front of him?
Well, what about failing the Or it says you admitted to fantasizing about girls ages 10 to 14.
No, yeah. When I was a kid, I told the polygrapher that I thought back to when I was a kid about the girls that I had something to do with when I was a kid. Like, one of them that nobody knows about is Sherry. Sherry was a girl that I had hots for a long time. She was my girlfriend. Actually, the first year that she moved in Cambridge, she was my brother's girlfriend. Then went to school in the following summer. It was me and her. And after that, apparently she didn't think she fit into my family for some reason. So she wound up going with other guys during the school year. But I still liked her. But we were good friends for a long time after that. And actually, I think I was like 30 the last time I saw her. But it was like when I was that age. When I was that age, it's girls that I liked when I was that age. That's what they're saying. That's what they're twisting around. They literally twisted around everything I said.
It says the Paula thing was in the clinical interview. So you told that to the psych evaluator.
No, the psych evaluator, I told the psych evaluator that I did have sex with Paula. I told her everything that I told you about with Paula, I told her about. I even told Ashley about.
So you masturbated to the thought of kids from high school?
No. From girls that I went to high school with, those were the ones that I thought about. That I had
Yeah,
thought
but
about
you knew them
later.
in high school, right?
Yeah, they were my age.
Well, back then they were.
Yeah, back then they were. Now they're still my age. I just thought about them from back then.
Yeah, when they were in, you thought about the high school version of them.
Yeah, because that's all I remember that they look like.
Yeah, and they were kids back then, more.
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking of it in that way.
How were you thinking of it?
Just because they were girls that I liked.
Yeah, but you were picturing 10 to 14-year-old kids. You don't see how that's kind of fucked up?
No, that was when I was in high school. The girls from high school.
I know that, but you were doing it recently, it says. You were thinking about high school girls when you were masturbating, according to the psych evaluation, the last 7 months.
According to the psych evaluation, the last 7 months.
Or, I mean, however long ago that you took this thing.
But there were girls that were my age that I was trying to think about.
I don't know how you're not understanding what I'm saying. Yeah, but you were picturing them as kids. It's the image of kids. That'd be like pulling out your yearbook and masturbating to a picture of a girl in there. Just because she's 50 years old now, you were jerking off to the 16-year-old picture of her.
I understand what you're saying, but at the time I wasn't thinking about it like that because I was the same age as them.
That's the problem.
What?
That you should be thinking about it like that.
Well, I don't think about it anymore because after when I think it was Sean that I said that I told Sean about that too, and he made me think about that in that sense too. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really think of it that way.
Well, I'm just confused. Why did you fail the polygraph?
I'm not sure why I failed the polygraph. I'm trying to remember. But that was How long ago was that? That was
2021, it says.
2021.
The recent one. Why do you fail all the polygraphs of being attracted to kids? They asked you in March and in February.
I don't know why I failed them. I was honest with them about everything.
Well, yeah, you were honest, and they wrote it down. You told them about the 9-year-old girl and stuff.
Yeah, I told them about that stuff, but I wasn't attracted to her. I wasn't masturbating to her. I wasn't masturbating to any of them. The high school girls, yeah, that were my age when I was that age, but I didn't think of it in that way, and Sean brought it to my attention about that. And then I understood it. But I never had any attraction to any. He twisted around everything that I told him. He twisted around.
I just don't get why you don't understand that children are off limits.
I understand that. I am not attracted. Casey, what are you doing?
I'm asking you why you were jerking off to images of high school girls you went to school with. I'm just confused why.
Because they were the same age as me. Well, and that's what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about, them being kids at the time. I was just thinking about them when I was a kid.
Yeah, you were thinking about them from back when you were a kid, when they were also kids and you're 50 years old.
Right,
you weren't jerking off and thinking about
like
them as 50-year-olds. You get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. It didn't dawn on me that I was thinking about it like that.
Yeah, but you understand now that you were thinking of it like that.
Yeah, now I understand I was.
You understand now that at 50 years old you were jerking off to kids.
I understand that, and I don't do that anymore because I didn't think about it that way when I was doing it then.
I just don't get how you weren't thinking of that.
Casey, I know the kids are off limits. I don't jerk off to kids.
Well, what about the masturbating to the girl on Little House on the Prairie?
That's because I saw her in another show, and I told the polygrapher this. I saw her in another show, and I remember about her when she was in Little House on the Prairie, and I used to have a crush on her. And I still had a crush on her when I saw her in this other show when she was an adult. I told him about that. But, of course, he doesn't put that in there. This is why I got to bring that into him.
Well, why does it say that's not what was said, though?
Yeah, that's what was said. What he wrote and what was said are two completely different things. That's why I have to bring it into him to point it out to him and ask him why he's writing down different things that I actually say. Because if you look at the psych doctor's evaluation, the professional, you look at what she says, she's the one that gives me the test.
Well, which page is her page?
I could go up and look at it. Yeah, you're looking at the polygraph reports. Tests and measures. PAI. The PAI.
What page is that?
1, 2, third page in. And the fourth page in. Conclusions and recommendations. That's the psych doctor.
Well, she's talking about your self-report. Where's her words? Because all this starts with Mr. Armstrong's self-description. Mr. Armstrong indicates he, according to his self-report, the self-concept. Where are her words? That's not on page 3.
Hold on. Okay, look at the last sentence of every one of them.
Well, no, I should be looking at where it says conclusions and recommendations, right?
The last sentence of every one of them. Look at the last sentence on every one of them. Should be the last sentence on every one of them. And the first one, okay. The second paragraph, Mr. Armstrong answered all the questions in a consistent manner. He responded in a reasonably forthright manner and did not attempt to present an unrealistic or inaccurate impression that was either more negative or more positive than the clinical picture would warrant. Okay, now let me see.
Yeah, tell me where I'm supposed to be looking. You said the last sentence?
It's either the last two sentences or the last sentence.
Well, can you just point me to one? Because I'm not seeing any.
Okay.
Because it says certain elements of his self-description would suggest that's your self-description.
Right, okay. Now, go to the second to the last sentence. Certain elements of his self-description suggest that others...
That's what I was just reading. Of your self-description.
Right, but the last two sentences or the last sentence is what she is saying.
As part of his more general problems in close relationships, he may have difficulty trusting a treatment professional.
What?
That's the last sentence.
Yeah, that, and the sentence before that too. Certain elements of his self-description suggest that others are likely to see him as being withdrawn, aloof, and somewhat unconventional.
That's based off your self-description, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but she's the one that's giving me the test.
Yeah, that's a self-description. That's when you describe yourself.
Okay, so go down to conclusions and recommendations.
Yes, Mr. Armstrong was referred for this evaluation to get an understanding of his relationships and why he continues to be taken advantage of. Mr. Armstrong reports he does not have a history of ever having had a long-term, intimate relationship with an adult. He believes much of this is related to his friend choosing to date someone else. It seems more probable that it is related to difficulty with relationships in general. One of the factors that complicates understanding the underlying dynamics of Mr. Armstrong's relationships is that he is not a reliable reporter. So it becomes difficult to know whether he believes what he is saying is true when it's not, or whether he's aware he is providing inaccurate information. Mr. Armstrong's failed polygraphs suggest he has a pattern of withholding relevant information when asked about it.
Okay.
She's calling you a liar. He says you have a pattern of lying.
I know, to treatment providers, because I don't trust them.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
You lie to them.
I haven't since Gene. I haven't trusted. Which Sean was actually the one I didn't trust.
She's saying you lie to everyone.
No, I don't lie to everyone. It's like the polygrapher. I pointed it out to Ashley. That it's fucking bullshit because he twisted everything around that I said.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep going through what the polygrapher said, or the psych eval, the conclusion, okay?
Well, look back up here. Look at
Well,
something.
no. We're going to go through the
Right above.
conclusion where she put her thoughts.
All right. Why you right above?
Mr. Armstrong described himself as being taken advantage of by women on the internet who post their conversations with him. He said he was, quote, too trusting, and that's why they took advantage of him. When confronted with accusations that he would get drunk and yell at the woman, he again portrayed himself as the victim, noting that they had, quote, made him fall in love with them and then cheated on him. His calling them, quote, sluts and yelling at them suggests a more combative, if not abusive, relationship than he suggests. It is unknown whether the other women believe they are in a romantic relationship with Mr. Armstrong, where sexual fidelity would be expected. It may be more helpful to conceptualize the relationships as mutually abusive rather than him being taken advantage of by people who have manipulated him. In treatment, this would include looking at the ways he was abusive and controlling. It will be important for him to shift his mindset from one where he is the victim to one of him making choices that likely hurt others. It will also be helpful for him to think about the needs he's meeting through having these relationships. Throughout the interview, Mr. Armstrong spoke about his sex offender treatment as if he were still engaged in it. He said he was still in treatment because his provider wanted him to have a relationship. This contrasts with information provided at that referral. When it was reported he had been discharged from the program for saying he wanted to hurt sex offenders. Beyond this, it does not appear Mr. Armstrong has gained knowledge from the sex offender-specific treatment process. He was unable to identify what he had learned or what sort of changes he made. While it would be understandable if he could not articulate all the tools and interventions he has been exposed to, he was unable to identify any. This is particularly concerning given his admissions of using thoughts of young adolescents/pre-adolescents for sexual satisfaction during masturbation as recently as last year. Particularly given the nature of his offense, this is very concerning.
Where's it that you're reading that?
That is on page 5, the first two sections. She put the word admission, meaning you admitted it. It's on page 5. There's only 6 pages.
I'm reading, but apparently I didn't read it all.
And then look what Elise put at the very bottom of the last page. Victim stance or poor me are often found on lists of cognitive distortions that sex offenders use as ways of avoiding responsibility for their actions. He says you take a victim stance.
Me and Julie are getting to the bottom root of that problem. I'm fucking floored. Apparently, I didn't fucking read it all, apparently. This is fucked up. It's so fucked up. I'm not attracted to fucking kids. Damn.
Well, then why did you admit it to her?
I didn't admit to her that I was attracted to kids.
Read through it then. Because it says that's the conclusion. That was her evaluation, and that's what she determined, and that's her job. What you were reading before was your self-report. She took your self-report into consideration and came to the conclusion that you're not honest, and then went into all the other stuff. You only read certain parts. You didn't read the whole thing.
This is fucked up right here. He said he was still in treatment because his provider wanted him to have a relationship. That's what they've been telling me.
Not according to police or whoever was the psych evaluator. They say that you're in there because you were taken out of there because you were threatening to beat up the other people in class or something.
3 years ago, I told Winnie, either 3 or 4 years ago, I told Winnie, they recorded me and put it on the internet. Then they wound up fucking putting it on the internet again, and John wound up hearing it. And that's what brought this whole thing on.
Well, explain it.
That's why I am out of that class.
Where's the polygrapher's name on the report?
I don't know.
Because you keep saying that's the polygrapher, but this isn't the polygrapher. This is the psych evaluator.
The polygraph report, they're different people.
Yeah, so who wrote this report? Because you keep saying the polygrapher, but this is a thing from the psych evaluator.
I know. Well, she gets reports from probation. From what?
Yeah, this isn't the polygraph.
Yeah, the polygraph gets given to probation. Probation sends reports that they have to the psych eval.
Yeah, we're talking about the psych evaluator, where the psych evaluator is saying you told her you never had sex with Paula, and you told her that you had the fantasies about the kids. She's not going off of anything else. She's saying what you told her.
No, I didn't tell her that I did not have sex with Paula. I told her that I did.
But you did tell her that, though. But she put it down.
She put down the wrong thing because I told her that I did. I don't tell anybody that I didn't have sex with Paula or with somebody that I did have sex with. I don't have a reason to do that. And with Paula, it pisses me off when you told me that she denies having sex with me when she's the one that came over to my apartment and had her boyfriend bring her over.
Well, what reason does the psych evaluator have to lie about this stuff?
Wait a minute. I'm going to tell you something that I haven't told anybody else. I wound up in the hospital that same night because when Paula left.
The night that she had sex with you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I took like 20 pills. Nobody knows this, except for my brother Paul.
Wait, you told Winnie you overdosed on Tylenol once.
Yeah, Tylenol.
Was that the same time?
I guess I don't remember telling Winnie that. I don't remember telling anybody that. I thought Paul was the only one that knew.
You do. I mean, What does that prove, though?
That's the reason I went to the hospital.
Because she wouldn't have sex with you?
No, because she had sex with me, then had her boyfriend come back and get her.
So you tried to kill yourself with Tylenol?
Yeah, I didn't know Tylenol couldn't do any more than that at the time.
Well, then how come you self-reported that you've never been depressed?
Because I wasn't depressed. I was in love and I was hurt. The rest of my life was fine.
So why wouldn't you tell the evaluator that?
Embarrassment.
Embarrassment?
Yep.
These are the people doing a psych eval on you, Lauren. You should be telling them everything.
And, well, I never thought to tell her about that.
Well, she says that. She says in her conclusion that you withhold information, so she's not stupid.
It's not that I withhold information, it's that I don't think of everything at the time.
Well, okay, I'm just going to ask you this straight out. Are you a virgin?